morning. If you can see outside, it's wet and it's raining and overcast. And yes, it looks like apparently my kitchen ceiling is leaking too.
Oh no!
Well, so it must be raining pretty hard out there. Well, we have a lot of things going on today, including Saturday night on Blazing Leo's channel. I will be with her doing a show. One thing. On Sunday at 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. is Silvermoon Radio on Kick. Around 10 o'clock until God knows when, we have the after show that we usually do on Kick and YouTube. If you wonder why we don't do the regular show on YouTube, it's because of the copyright rules that YouTube enforces. So therefore, to avoid any trouble, because the fact is that everything is now stored on Kick. All the shows on Kick are on Kick. And now we keep them on Patreon. Well, I want to remind you guys, we'd love to have you come on Patreon as well, because that's where we do the majority of our content. It's stored there on Patreon, except for the YouTube shows, which YouTube diligently has been storing on YouTube, except for some episodes that they don't like for some reason. But anyway, that's a different story. But anyway, so good morning, everybody. And it's so Noodles' birthday's today. Happy birthday, Noodles. I want to remind you guys, as I said, is Patreon needs you. We have a lot on Patreon, as me and Leo were talking about last night. And we'd like you to go check it out. It doesn't cost you any money to watch the free views. And the free views, there's quite a few of them actually. So if you want to come check out the free views on Patreon, we'd very much appreciate it. And you just did it again with the other screen. I know. Okay. So right now the current standing is 1,678 subs on the main YouTube channel, which is a good thing. But we're still 22 short of 1,700 people. Let's get those 1,700 people.
Oh yeah!
Noodles is 44 years old. In 11 years, he'll be my age. I don't know. Some people used to say when you hit 50, that's your middle age. Honey, they were saying that in the 1980s. You know what? The average age of a person lived to was, for a man, was about 85. So, wouldn't middle age actually been more like 42 years old? So in a way, but now that when people are living to be centenarians up to 105, 106, now middle age is about 55 years old. Very interesting facts. All right, let's get the QEQ panel open and see who comes up today on QEQ. QEQ. We tried to have a public panel yesterday on the other link, and some unsavory people came up on Kick. Of course, Kick didn't bat an eye. Kick didn't care. Which is fine. Because once we get rid of those people, an unsavory person, the show went very well on Kick. Good morning, Leo. How you doing? Now, just remember, we are recording a local copy as well as the copy going out to Restream.io. So, if you think anybody is going to be able to easily kick me and knock me flat on my butt, you got another thing coming.
Oh, yeah!
QEQ is the panel. I'd love to have people on here. Blaze O'Neill has a link. Tiger Kitty has a link, which Tiger Kitty haven't seen yet. But they've seen Krista, and she's one who told us about Noodle's birthday. So I actually got up kind of earlier today. Kind of woke up about 6:30. Laid in bed for a bit, watched the news, checked out what's going on. Put some news articles in the Discord. Take my tarot reading, looked at the weather projections for us here in Northeast. You got today is going to be a little bit soggy in the morning. And the mid-afternoon, it's going to still be cloudy with maybe a little bit of sun peeking out before the sun goes down. And then, of course, Sunday is going to be the nicest, a high of 50 degrees Fahrenheit or 10 degrees Celsius. Monday is going to be sunny with a high of 5, what was it, 2? Yeah, 2 degrees. 2 degrees Celsius, or about 44 degrees. 44 degrees. So, that'll be a good way to walk to my doctor's appointment. So, this week, we don't see any scheduled appointments that are going to interfere with the show. So, which means we will be on our show in the 10 a.m. time slot. Now, as far as we did very well last night with Frankie McDonald, I thought the show did very well. When the official demographics came in, we'll give them the numbers. Libby says. Okay, let's find the numbers for the Frankie McDonald show. Yeah, I gotta find my cursor here. There it is. Alright. Make sure I got the right screen. Okay. So, first of all, right now, we're at 1,678 subs. Content, live streams. Oh, yes, YouTube. I see live. Limited, unsuitable. A request for review now since I happen to be on that screen. You would think YouTube would be getting sick of that. Well, anyway, that show had 196 views. 196 views. quite a few likes as well. I would say 70.4% like the content, which is also a very good thing. So, that demographic says a lot in a good way. Number one, people are starting, what was in the news, Michelle, or what did you check first on YouTube? I checked first YouTube, and then I checked the news. Okay, someone wants to come on panel. Let them on here for a minute. I gotta go to that screen. Hit Blazing Leo on here. Admit one. Good morning. How you doing? Oh, well, what did you check first on YouTube? I checked first YouTube, and then I checked.
Morning. Hold on, I gotta mute you.
I hear that you had my show on your on the window. I forgot to mute it. But anyway.
Yeah, I forget because when I join the link from Discord, it takes me to a completely different web browser. So then I gotta close this web browser, go to another web browser, to
right,
turn
yeah.
you off.
Yeah, it does.
So yeah, well, what's the first thing you check into, Michelle, when you wake up, when you turn your phone on?
Well, the first thing I tend to check is the very first thing I do is I check the Discord to see if there's any messages, because that tends to be, especially the women's group tends to be the most busy. Then I look in the general chat, news, weather, and tabs in the Discord. Then I go to the YouTube side and I look for more news articles and weather updates, tarot reading updates.
Yeah, fuck you. I mean, screw you and your snow, Michelle. I'm covered in a heavy, wet blanket of snow right now.
Well, right now, my ceilings leaked a tiny bit too, but that's because, as you can see...
Yeah, we have something at work leaking the ceiling too because of all the rain. You're going to get the snow next. The snow's coming. It's not fun, Michelle. So make sure you have your everything stocked up.
Oh,
yeah. I know it's hard for you to get out in this.
I got food I can eat cold. I got food I can eat warm.
What about like if you hurt yourself? You got Band-Aids and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing, like when you're a mom, like we know when we go out or, like our important things, but when you're responsible for a child, there's so much more you have to have. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Because they get into so many things. And when you're a new mom, it's even worse. I was lucky because I had my mother there to help me. So, but I know some new moms that didn't have even a Band-Aid, they just didn't realize they needed it.
Right, we have bandages and stuff. A lot of the stuff Ed never used, which are generic dressings and first aid bandages and stuff. We have those here. Plus, antibiotic salves and things like that.
But have you checked the expiration? Like, because I've had triple antibiotic and hydrocortisone and all that for years, right? Because those are
it's still
common...
good. I checked
it.
Oh,
yeah, I
bought it last year for him, so...
I had one that expired way back in 2013. And then 2008, I had cough syrup from 2008. I'm like, what the hell?
Oh, yeah. Well, we certainly had lots of those, too. In fact, when I was a kid, my mom had a cough, sore throat medication sitting in the medicine cabinet under the sink. Remember, this is about 1980. No, but 1977. So you won't believe the years if I tell you. It was from 1968.
Oh, I seen something expired in 1955 once, but I think it was being kept for more of a keepsake.
I don't know. I think she finally got rid of it after she realized it was still sitting there, or realized no one was using it. Well,
Yeah, nobody's used it in that long, and it expired, and you're still holding on to it.
I don't know why she was holding on to it. I tried it once. It was like, yeah, maybe it helps with the sore throat a little bit, but it's in a glass bottle, and back in 1977, the glass was still a thing. So, just kind of weird. I guess my mom finally decided when she went cleaning in the cabinets after we moved from River End to their house, she found the old bottle of stuff in the medicine cabinet and said, "What the hell is this stuff doing here?" She said, "Throwing it out. It's expired."
Yeah, I remember doing that too. I'm sure everybody. Tiger Kitty just moved. I'm sure she's probably, when she was packing things up, was like, what the hell is this? Or where did this come from?
Or how about this wonderful experience that I've experienced, where you start going through your house and when you were looking for something, you couldn't find it, and then you buy a replacement, and then all of a sudden you find the original one that you originally couldn't find. And you're like, now I got two of them. That's how you ended up with two cell phone stands for my phone. Because I couldn't find the first one. And that's why we bought the clip and put mounted on the second one. And then we found the first ones. And that's why I have two cell phone stands. What was in the news, Michelle? Or what did you check first as I reached that? By the way, what's in the news? Let's talk about this. In the case of the state of New York versus Donald Trump, Donald Trump was told that the judge is going to decide the situation. When he said he could, in his closing arguments, he was not allowed to mention the Attorney General. The judge already kind of basically said he was kind of alleged he was already guilty before he even had a case. That sounds like YouTube. Even in the appeal. But at the same time, Donald Trump's lawyer said our banks and information confirmed that there was no banking fraud being done because all the bills were paid, all the loans were paid back, and everything. But the judge was trying to say that Trump's organization had been guilty of over 10 years for banking fraud. I mean, it's like, that's kind of scary enough. But when you got a judge that says, if Trump mentions the Attorney General at all, I'm going to stop his testimony and I'm going to kick him out of the courtroom.
What? That's not right.
No, it's not right.
But I mean, how could the judge say that? If the Attorney General is involved, Trump has to tell the truth, right? And right. Otherwise, he's perjuring himself. So how could a judge order him not to speak the truth? He's already prejudiced. He needs to be kicked from that case.
The judge is already saying that Trump is already guilty of sin. It's like, wait, but
yeah,
the documents show that Trump did not defraud banking rules, regulations, or banks. So how can you strip his business licenses in the state of New York when his organization didn't even violate business practices? I don't get it. And so there are people that are seriously like wondering where is the Attorney General coming up with this case when the documents from the banks themselves don't even support it. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does make. They don't have the evidence.
Right.
But they're still saying that they do. And that's why they call it
now because it's a civil case. We're not talking about a criminal case. This is not the criminal one. We're going to get to that one in a second.
The civil.
The one that is the insurrection one. The Supreme Court said they are going to hear the case. And as one of the people I watched talked about with an attorney who's running for the Republican Party for the state of Colorado because one of the representatives is retiring or resigning. He said the Supreme Court realizes this Article 4 of this 14th Amendment issue is a really big deal because the first question is, does the 14th Amendment apply to the President of the United States? Number two, since Trump was never convicted of the crime of the January 6th, and that's important too, because he was never convicted. So if he was never convicted, can you use the 14th Amendment? Here's the thing. The 14th Amendment doesn't even say you need a conviction. I don't get that. That's almost like you're saying is, I can point my finger at someone and say, you're guilty of something with no evidence, no jury, no supporting documents. And then all I can say is that you can't run for president of the United States if I think you're guilty of insurrection against the United States government. And second of all is, this originally was created after the Civil War against Confederate officials. That's how out of date this is. I looked at the 14th Amendment. It's got more holes in it than my calendar does in my kitchen. Especially Section 3. It seems to me that what they do, and it is not unusual, is they write the laws in such a way that they can be interpreted many different ways at the same time. And yes, Mr. DDoSer, you're not shutting me down, asshole, because guess why? I'm recording a local copy of this anyway. So even if you try to scramble my video, it's still getting out there.
Oh, yeah!
You bet. Alright.
But he doesn't celebrate his birthday, Krista.
Yes, I know Noodles is celebrating his birthday today. I want to say happy birthday to you. You're 40.
He doesn't celebrate it. So why is he live and celebrating it? Is he not a Jehovah's Witness anymore?
That's a good question. Technically, he's still a Jehovah's Witness.
Call him up. Get him over and tell him, like, what the fuck, dude? You know this is my time slot. I don't give a shit. You're streaming over me, and you don't celebrate your birthday, but you're streaming for your birthday? Call him up, Michelle. He's your friend.
I don't know if he's streaming over me, but that's not what causes the DDoS, or distributed denial of service attack.
He's very rude. Very, very rude.
But right now, also with the crazy weather, Michelle, maybe the DDoS is being caused by the weather itself.
That's what I don't understand, Michelle. Why don't you think it's just that? Why do you think you're being?
Well, today I definitely can think it definitely could be a lot worse because the fact that it is raining. It is raining.
He told you he was a Muslim, Catholic.
Except the only one valid thing. We were green only up until I mentioned Trump, and then we got red.
What?
Good morning, Andrew. How are you doing? Welcome to the show. I hope you can come up on the channel sometime soon.
Yeah, Andrew, I was just thinking we need a little bit of drama for Michelle to pull some views. I looked at her, I'm like, there's only 3. I told people I'm fucking boring. I am so boring. I like to help people with channels, but like that's why me and Noodles made a good pair, because I love that he was the spotlight, but I was involved.
Right.
I hate the spotlight. I don't like to draw attention like that.
Let me ask you a question about something you said in the women's group. You said about my microphone or your microphone is... I had a chance to hear the video last night on my phone. You sounded fine. You didn't sound too oversaturated. You don't sound too saturated today.
Yeah. Well, I'm not screaming into the computer either.
No, I mean where you're clipping. Let me demonstrate that. Please, for headphone wearers, please remove your headphones. This is a demonstration. This is what I mean by clipping. Now, I'm really pushing the red here. Okay. I'm going to set it back to SMPTE spec here. Headphone wearers, you can put your headphones back on now. Okay. So what happens is
we got it already, Andrew. It's the heavy wet crap. But I prefer this over that slushy shit that hits first. Oh, sorry, Michelle. I forget your channel is like swear free.
I try to keep my language on my channel decent. But
yeah, where are the ladies at this morning? This is like coffee hour, Saturday morning.
Yes.
Where are the normal people at? We're just kind of sitting at the table, drinking coffee, having a chit chat.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, there's something in my body that's off. I think my magnesium levels are down.
Yeah, magnesium levels are down.
No, Gothic, I can't scream. I really can't. I had throat surgery where if my throat or if my voice hits an octave, you won't hear shit. I cannot scream.
I can't either. I have tried. I can't scream. I can barely squeak. I think I screamed once in 10 years, and that was, albeit, very painful to do that.
To scream? Yeah, it is. It really is. Well, I had some of my soft palate. I had tissue taken out of my throat, my uvula removed. Yeah. And I've tried when I was out in the middle of the woods or something just to scream. Nothing comes out. And my throat hurts. So I don't even try it anymore.
Yeah. Screaming is like the sound your smoke detector makes when it senses fire kind of thing. Not something you want to hear on a regular basis. But, the thing is that I'm going to talk about last night. What did you think about the stream from last night on Kick? Because I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, but Michelle, I love talking about things. So I love your channel, regardless if you have 100 people in here or one person in here. I just like to talk to people. I like to get to know other people's opinions. So I thought it went great. You're asking the wrong person. You should be asking the masses what they think. I thought it went great.
By the way, I will say one thing now is, want to get back to Trump real quick in the Supreme Court. I think, this is my opinion, the reason why they realized they had to take this case is if they, for example, go against Trump and say that Article 4 can be the 14th Amendment can be applied to every state individually. That means that states could say, the Republicans could say, good, given that we already know that Joe Biden has been, and his family is guilty of causing crimes, then we can keep him off the ballot.
They're giving it to the son right now in Congress with the accusations of the women that the underage kids, the China involvement. He's under the heat right now.
Absolutely. And I'm saying, especially if there's a conviction or confirmed indictment of that, if they say that you can indeed use the 14th Amendment against somebody for doing, for treason and high misdemeanors, then Biden will be out of a job even before he gets voted out.
Have we ever had an impeached president? I know Nixon, was it Nixon that came close, but he resigned before he got
Nixon
impeached,
resigned.
Right? Yeah.
So they didn't impeach him, but if he knew that if he had stayed in, then if they did a bit, articles of impeachment on Nixon, he realized he would never be able to be president ever again anyway. So to save face, he resigned instead.
What exactly did they get him on? What was that? The paper, the white. What was it called?
They they went after him on the issue of Watergate.
Watergate, that's what what was Water? I never really got to fully investigate Watergate. What was that?
So, I mean, there was so much evidence that was clearly, unfortunately, in Richard Nixon's disfavor that it was just easier to resign than have articles of impeachment drafted. So, I guess you could say it's almost like he was admitting, you're right, I'm guilty. I'm not suitable to be a president. I'm leaving the White House. And so, understand, with Richard Nixon, because he resigned before the articles of impeachment were actually passed through Congress, he could have run for office again. But I don't think I've ever heard of Richard Nixon ever running for office after that. I think that's when he hung up his political hat and said, screw this. And I'm hoping, I really wish to God that, I think in some ways that's why I think he was more, I think in some ways he was probably more honest than anyone else. He realized his time was up. And even though he did say, I'm not a crook, evidence was indicative that he was indeed responsible for Watergate, at least in part. And so, I think he realized the best thing to do was just to resign from presidency in the United States. And that's when Gerald Ford got in there. But, Gerald Ford, if I understand correctly, I get confused with all the different names because that's way before. I was just a little kid when this came in. Gerald Ford, because he was associated with Richard Nixon, did not get the election in 1976 or 78. It was Jimmy Carter, which is our Joe Biden. And here's the difference. Jimmy Carter was a very smart man, very, very intelligent, had all his marbles, but when it came to being president of the United States, as a president, he just didn't know how to deal with the issues that were affecting the country back in the 1976 through 1980. And that is why he lost it to President Ronald Reagan. Because Jimmy Carter could not solve the inflation issue. He could not solve the hostage situation. It was, well, technically, really, it was right before Carter got in that you
can't rape the willing. And if someone came in and physically wanted to hurt me, I have a weapon just to shoot their ass. What do I need a whistle for?
Yeah.
And I don't put myself in situations anymore, that would happen. I'm very good at situational. Oh my God, situational awareness. I'm highly trained in that now.
Yeah, Stan. I figured that's why he got out of politics, was because of all that.
What do you say? After Gerald pardoned him.
After Gerald Ford pardoned him, that's why Gerald Ford kind of got
Watergate.
Right.
Stan would know what Watergate. I don't know what your explanation of Watergate was. That's where the
Democrat
I zoned out because I didn't know what you were talking about.
Okay. So anyway, he's saying is after Gerald Ford had pardoned him, that's why that was one of the main reasons why Gerald Ford did not win in 1976. But even so, he did less damage to the presidency than Joe Biden's ever done. And I think that's something you got to remember. However, the things are still clinic in history. We see this thing over and over again. And I don't know why
Jojo.
We keep seeing this. It's like politically we never learn from any of this. Good morning, JoJo. How you doing? Welcome to the show today.
I thought Jimmy Carter is dead. Oh my God, JoJo, you got a round of applause.
Jimmy Carter.
How do you
Jimmy
rate?
Carter did just pass away. I believe.
Who?
This year.
Who did? Jimmy Carter?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe Andrew doesn't know that, but yeah, he would have been 100.
And I wonder, but let's flash forward to 2024. You got Barack Obama and Michelle Obama rushing to the White House, trying to, help secure the situation with the Bidens, trying to do damage control. And you know what? How come those two are not running for president of the United States, but rather trying to support this old man that clearly does not have is not coherent and is losing his competence, and people are losing confidence in his administration. I don't understand why they don't just go ahead and put their names in for president and maybe even find a good solution for a vice president. Because clearly Barack Obama was pretty much liked for the most part by both the Republicans and the Democrats. Yeah, Barack Obama, yes, we know about the birth certificate issue. I'm not going to go there with that. I want to leave that alone. But I'll say this. It was a better choice. Now that he's had his 2 years in office, 2 terms in office, he's had at least a couple of years break from presidency, he can go back in again as president. And I think that they should put him on the ticket for the Democrats.
Who?
Because I think that Barack Obama could get it.
He can't. He did 2 terms. How could he get it again?
He can get it again because it says you can only serve 2 consecutive terms. Notice the word consecutive.
Michelle, no! Don't do that. Don't give those idiots any ideas.
They already know that's the ideas.
Oh, no. You're going to get idiots in there now. Or repeat ones.
And losing confidence in this administration. Anybody that's paying attention to Michelle has zero confidence in his administration. Yes, after he got in for the first few years, he was already kind of crapped out already. And when we see more and more that his mind is deteriorating so quickly, he should have been basically already removed from office under the 25th Amendment.
Wait, I thought Van Dyke and Warren Buffett already died. All right, so I think they're already dead. They probably will die this year, Stan.
Yeah. Jimmy Carter is still alive though. He is in my dead pool for 2024. He's like 90 something, 96, 97 years old. I thought he already passed on, but if he is still alive, he'd be about 97 years old now. Clearly, the last thing we need to get in the president right now in the United States would be a centurion.
Yeah, me too, Gothic. Me too. Yeah. My honest to God, if we don't get Trump, and I know this is because I know the older guys in here, but I like Vivek. I do. If that guy is for real, and I don't care if he was involved in some type of pharmaceutical thing, that's a businessman. Could you imagine that guy as a president? And if he truly believes in America that strongly, where he could take us, I like Vivek. I hope he's for real, I hope he really would help out the country.
I don't think I would have.
He's got to get these fucking women. Oh, sorry, the F word. He's got to get these women off of welfare. There's something about
Vivek Ramaswamy that just doesn't jive with me. I'm sorry. Is there something about the guy he just doesn't jive with me?
Yeah, I know it, but that's like with older people. I've noticed Stan doesn't like him either. Stan doesn't like Vivek either, and I don't think Red likes him. but there's something about him. I've been watching him and how he interacts with people. And I think, God, if that guy is real, he could really take us into a new direction. But I think I want Trump first and him like as vice president to kind of get a taste.
Presidential candidates in MicheleMarieDalene's order of precedence. And they have shuffled a little bit. Number one still remains for the top dog of Donald Trump. This is what I still believe. I still think Donald Trump is the one we need because he's the most capable.
Well, you know
Positions 2 and 3 is kind of a toss-up.
People have confidence in him.
I think I still would really kind of still consider Nikki Haley as a second. However, as we're hearing more and more about Nikki Haley, she's got her.
They're trying to push her. I don't like her. She's too fake.
Go ahead.
She's too fake.
Right.
You like Nikki? She's fake. I don't like that.
Yeah, I got the fakeness with her, and I kind of got the fakeness also with Ron DeSantis. I don't think Ron DeSantis or Nikki Haley, either one of them is really the best
I hope he does
position,
too. I hope he becomes VP. From what I've been watching on that guy, he's, I'm sorry, Michelle, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I really like Vivek. I'm thinking like, God, this guy could really change us. He knows, like, I like what he thinks about welfare and stuff like that. It's all that stuff is like destroying our country. We got to get these people back out into the world, start addressing the actual problems and not, throwing more money we don't have at it.
Yeah. Oh, right now what we need is, like I said before, I told this to Ed years ago, and I still stand behind it. We need a person to be presidential candidate that, number one, does not think like a politician. And I really still believe strongly that we need a candidate that is more in touch with the average, everyday person. Either Ron DeSantis or Nikki Haley is really quite in touch. One, they were both governors. One is still governor, which is Ron DeSantis, and the other one was the former governor of South Carolina, who was also the ambassador to the United Nations. Now, I'm not saying they're not good statespeople. I'm not saying they're not good, political people, but that's it. Political people. What we need is a candidate, as I said before, that has their finger on the pulse of their average American John and Jane Doe. And neither one of them really have that. Because once you graduate, as far as becoming the first political office, and yes, Trump, I'm sorry, this includes you too. But at least you're more or less still loved by everybody, because we know deep down, that you're still basically fighting for us American people. When you run for political office and you win, your whole mindset changes. Because now it's like entering a video game of, I gotta level up. I gotta go to the next level. I gotta go from, say, local city council now to mayor, from mayor to governor, from governor to president to senator, whatever. You start thinking about the next level of the game. And that's what politics is. It's a game with real world consequences. I agree. Anybody but Biden. Democrats, please consider putting somebody on the ticket for your nomination that is not sliding with Biden. Biden is a disaster. I really do think that the Democrats need a good candidate. As I said, I'm not afraid to vote for one party or the other party if the candidate is something I can resonate with. I can't resonate with Biden. I can't resonate with his money. I can't resonate with his family politics. Because as a person on a fixed income, I will never be anything like that. So how can I say I think that I can see how the will-to-do could see Biden's top sirloin at one time. But ladies and gentlemen, he's not the same man he was in the 1970s.
I don't know, what has Biden done good for this country? What has he done?
Nothing except to spend the country's money on stupid programs.
And get us into war. We're now in war. Like, it has not, like,
and that what Trump said is absolutely true. He never got, when he was president for those 4 years, he did not get us into a nuke war. He kept us out of a lot of conflicts. And the ones that we already were in, he was working to resolve the matters.
Is she running?
Is who running?
Jill Stein.
I have no idea if she's running or not. Does anybody know if anybody from Jill Stein of the Green Party's running this year?
Stan says he's voting for her. I'm going to have to check her out, Stan. I trust Stan with his opinions, things that he has told me and stuff. So if he says it's a good person, I want to check them out.
Oh, Jill
I know the name, but
I think Jill Stein's a good person too. But I think the sad truth of Jill Stein is some of the stuff that she wants to promote in some ways is more to the left than even what Biden is doing. For example, I know for a sure fact that she probably is going to continue to want to push the Green New Deal. After all, she's part of the Green Party.
She's a physician? Oh, yeah.
But
she's a physician. She's a doctor. Okay.
Yeah, but she's a medical doctor, so which means the good thing is she understands how the insurance programs and how the pharmaceuticals often have doctors, strung up almost like marionettes.
Yeah, but here's the thing. She knows medicine, right? And she does know insurance, and I agree wholeheartedly that we need a whole revamp on that's an important thing of her. But how is she in the political type stuff? Like, if I look into her, is it going to tell me what she's done politically good for the country, or, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, what are her views? That's what I want to know. Do you know her views on things?
All you have to do is go back and look at the 2016 campaign. Her views are very clear, as I said. She does not support the use of eating meat. She does not. She does endorse, green energy, which I mentioned. But let's talk about other types of energy, which are technically green, that everybody seems to have forgotten about. And that's hydroelectric. And the state of Oregon, as I've said several times in the past, they are actually closing down several hydroelectric power plants, even though they produce a large amount of power for the state of Oregon. Because they're worried about the dam messing up the ecology of the earth. Well, I don't think having all those solar panels sitting out there in large fields covering the grass so the grass can't generate electricity by photosynthesis is any better, because the truth is we need the oxygen to be created by photosynthesis to replenish what we use in the air, because we're making carbon dioxide. So I think the Green New Deal needs to include something that no one's talking about: repopulating the forests with good trees and plants, and getting people to build housing that's using ecologically responsible, sustainable materials that don't pollute the environment. In addition to that, anybody who's aware of what's going on would also realize that yes, the Green New Deal includes using alternative lighting such as LEDs, and that's very important to lower our energy footprint and our ecological impact on our communities. And she knows that. She got it. I understood that. But she said a few things on her campaign that basically made me shake my head with dismay. And I said to myself, number one, she's a third-party candidate. Number one, how are you going to get any of the Electoral College votes? The Electoral College in the United States seems to be mainly focused on both the Republican and Democrat parties. I have never seen any third-party candidate ever get a vote from the Electoral College in any state. Ross Perot.
Why should it matter what they say? Isn't it supposed to be a democracy where the population's vote is what matters?
Yes. One vote, one person, right? Absolutely. Yeah. That goes back
why does it matter what these electoral college votes
The Electoral
say?
College was created back when getting around to different areas of the country was too hard to do. And the Electoral College, in many cases, is really woefully out of date. Because if you go on Election Tuesday and you're watching the vote, you're seeing the popular vote in real time in cities and towns in the states. Thanks to internet, thanks to modern communications, we can get the actual popular numbers in real time. So the Electoral College, as I said, was created back when everything was done on horseback in this country. And we don't need this anymore. And I know that some people have proposed getting rid of the Electoral College, which is in the Constitution of the United States. And it's just like some people kept proposing to get rid of daylight savings time. And yet everybody always seems to come up with an idea, well, you know what, maybe we should keep it anyway. You know as well as I know that the Electoral College confuses the heck out of everybody. It really does. Because the only time we ever use the Electoral College is to nominate the president or elect the president of the United States. Now, I know YouTube is going to go, and I know they do. They're going to say, hey, you're talking about elections. That's banned. You know what? Sometimes you have to bring things like this up. Oh, by the way, Google is laying off more people. They just laid off a huge number of employees.
Yeah, I've seen that on Amazon.
Right? Yeah. Google, a lot of these big social media platforms are laying off huge number of people. Something tells me that's the canary in the coal mine, that they know that something's going wrong. And I think we should all be paying careful attention to that. So, but let me get back to the main topic. So I know YouTube doesn't want us to talk about this, but it got to bring it up sometimes because it needs to be addressed.
What?
Because American people have the right to know what's really going on, despite what the mainstream media is saying to us.
Yeah, but you can't believe anybody, even the president and stuff. You can't believe anybody because
CT just posted a link. He said from the Jillstein2024.com her principles that she stands for. Okay, thank you very much, Stan. I appreciate that, and we will look those up later on today. Also, post that in the news section too.
I might talk about her then tonight, Stan. There's so many topics I want to talk about. I'm trying to limit down like what main ones to talk about.
Can you repeat that, please?
I said there's so many topics I'd like to cover. I'm trying to narrow it down to just maybe a couple of them tonight.
Right, I understand that. And we do have a lot of topics to cover. And including things that we can't even mention the words on here on YouTube without basically getting some complaints. So I won't even bother to go through, but I know the kind of topics you want to cover.
Yeah.
And easily we can fill 2-hour time slot just covering.
Michelle, I could talk for hours about all of this stuff.
Oh, I know you can. So can I. But for the large majority of our audiences, I like to keep the shows under 2 hours because I think that's more than long enough for most people to allocate out of their day.
Really, Chris?
Well, that's a good question, though. Let's talk about that topic real quick. Have you ever noticed with some of the live streams?
So that's a pretty important job, then. I'm sorry, I was reading Grizz's thing. What did you say, Michelle?
I was going to say is that with live streamers, why is it that some live streamers will stream for so long on a show? On the average, we're talking about like some shows are 6 hours long.
Mm-hmm.
And I always wonder, like, how can people sit through a whole 6-hour show?
Because we're losers, Michelle. We used to sit on those streams with noodles all day. Because, not having money or not having anything to do. And, like, you could, like, I'm a homebody. I could do things in my apartment while, talking on those streams. I don't know about the rest of the people, but it's basically because they have nothing to do.
Yeah.
That's it.
I also noticed that the Chrome automatic captions, not the Google Hangouts one or Meets one, but the Chrome ones, is not transcribing everything you're saying, whereas the Google Meets ones are. It's just the Google Meets ones are on the bottom of my screen, and the Chrome ones are on the top of my screen. It seems funny that the one algorithm is captioning everything you say perfectly, and the other one is like dropping whole sentences. I think you can see why last night you said I wasn't hearing everything you said. Well, that's because the one captioning program isn't showing everything you said. The other one is. Yeah, so you might sit there for 5-6 hours, nothing gets done. You're not doing. I mean, some people are not even doing the housework. Their ears are stuck to their phones, listening to everything that's being said.
I'm gonna have to look into that too, Grizz, because I don't know anything then about the electoral college. Because I would assume that that's all they did was they went by the majority of the people who voted. By their decision,
right.
They then, instead of taking like the hundreds of thousands of those votes and like counting them up, it just went to the electoral person and they said, all right, that's what the majority wants. I will vote for what the majority wants. Yep. That's what I thought the electoral college was about.
That's what I thought too. Like I said, but what if you got like let's say Jill Stein. Let's say Jill Stein did manage to get how many votes the elector is supposed to represent. So in some ways it's kind of like the Nielsen ratings. Okay, so if each elector, say like, state of Rhode Island, for example, it's really small. It's got like 2 electors, I believe.
Oh no, God, you're not a political person, Gothic, but I think more people need to start. Make sure you're reading your chat too, Michelle. Like Gothic.
I am.
They're not. Or he. I think Gothic is a he. I think more people like you, Gothic, need to get into the politics to see what's going on in the world because where our world is heading because of what we have in office, it's going to affect everybody. I mean, it is affecting everybody. And I think people with the brain need to start paying attention. I mean, it's really boring. It's very confusing, and it's very hard to trust anybody. But I don't know. Do you agree, Michelle? Like more people need to start getting involved.
And that's how they're actually.
We are not going to have a future, guys.
And that's how they're hoodwinking everybody because they make it so complicated that nobody wants to watch it.
I think the world needs to wake
Hello,
up.
Shooty Pie and Kick. How are you doing today?
At least our country does. I don't care about the rest of them. Was it Shooty Pie? Hello, Shooty Pie. Shooty? Shooty. Is that Shooty or
Shooty
Shutty?
Pie? Shooty Pie. Yeah. Welcome to the show. And yeah, that's why reasons why they do what they do with their laws. They make them so complicated that most people can't even understand half of them. But that also, getting back to the Supreme Court, whatever they're going to decide, is that they could very well say, with their decision, if they decide against Trump, that means that the Republican state governors say, well, guess what? We're doing the same thing on Biden. Which means that violates the Constitution's Bill of Rights and the concept what the Constitution is saying when everybody has a free right to vote in free elections for the candidate of their choice. Whereas, so if the people in, say, the state of Texas, let's say Governor Abbott said, if the Supreme Court said that they can block someone from a ballot for allegedly doing a crime because there's no necessary conviction, then he could say, well, in that case, we're taking Biden off the ballot. So that means that Texans that want to vote for Biden can't, because automatically would go to Trump. And that totally destroys the credibility of the election system.
Oh, okay, Grizz. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
And so I'm hoping that the Supreme Court is going to say the opposite. And a couple of reasons. Number one, Donald Trump was not formally convicted of any charges. He was not indicted of that charge of insurrection. Okay? And so therefore, the 14th Amendment does not apply because he was not convicted. Now, the second question was, does the 14th Amendment apply to the President of the United States? Now, if the 14th Amendment was only for officers, then in that case, it may not apply to the President, which means the whole thing can be thrown out completely because it was for officers, which includes congressmen and senators and military officials.
Oh, Nurse is from PDX.
Okay, what's she saying here?
One of PDX followers. Welcome, Nerdwitch. She liked you over at PDX's, she said. I think it's a she. Yeah, Witch is a she.
Yeah. I will be on PDX's on Wednesday of next week. So, also, I see PDX is feeling better, so she did a last night stream. I'm hoping that PDX will let me know when she wants me to have me on again for part 2. So hopefully she'll get back to me and let me know when she wants to work in part 2. Hello, Nerdwitch, how you doing? I love seeing you in PDX Live with Emily and much love. I'm hoping that she's going to have me on soon again. I don't know when that's going to be.
You like her? You like PDX?
Yeah, I like her. She's decent. She's kind. She's smart. She's
very sweet. I like her. She seemed very normal, very sweet. I'm glad that you got
definitely. She definitely is a down-to-earth person in a positive way. Yes, I did get that.
Sorry.
And the same thing with J-Mac. That both are very down-to-earth people. And so I'm hoping to see...
I want to give this cat a bath, but I'm afraid.
What's that?
I want to give the cat a bath, but I'm afraid to do it, Michelle.
I'll put it this way. If you give a cat a bath that's never had a bath before,
yeah,
make sure to wear some very heavy work gloves.
Yeah, I know. Oh, he needs one so bad. He's so dirty. But I swear to God, it's a panther. This thing is huge, and he acts like a bigger cat. I don't know what to say. Like,
well, some cats don't mind getting wet. I know Fame didn't mind it, but Rusty hated it, and Rusty has claws that are sharp as razor blades. So,
Yeah, I don't bathe my cats ever unless they get into something, and that's why I'm saying that's the only reason why I want to clean him up, because he's dirty. He's been outside.
Why don't you try using a washcloth or a dish rag and just
I'm gonna, yeah, but then I gotta chase him down too, and I gotta be in the mood to do that. And with working, I come home and I'm achy, and with this
I
cold weather,
understand
it's
that.
horrible
Yeah.
for my arthritis. Right? Yeah, I got his eye yesterday, and he was pissed off at me. He went and laid up on top of the cabinets.
Yeah.
Couldn't get to him, but now he loves me again because I fed him.
Well, the cat likes you, though. I mean,
he does. I love him
trust.
too. He's such a sweetie, but with his eye, I'm worried about that, and it's like I'm not supposed to have him here.
I definitely would get him to the vet, get him an eye exam, and give him a general checkup anyway.
It doesn't look as puffy, but it does have the goop still in it. So it is, because I washed it a little bit yesterday. The goopy dried stuff is coming off.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping when it comes off, maybe, I don't know if he'll ever have sight in it, but maybe the infection or whatever healed itself.
I don't know. Remember, I don't want to get my video removed from giving medical advice without being a medical doctor. Bring him to the vet and have him check it. Just to be safe.
Oh, is that?
Yeah, they deleted a video from 2021 saying I was giving medical advice.
Yeah, I know, and you're so paranoid about stuff. That's not medical.
I don't know if they would say the same thing if I give medical vet advice. I'm not even going to go there. So just talk to your vet about that and see what the vet says. Also, we don't even know if he has the shots either.
No. Yeah, he had to have been somebody's pet.
Yeah.
He's too sweet. Or at least wherever he lived, they were good to him. Like he's not afraid of people. Normally animals that have been abused or not grown up around them, they're afraid of people.
Right, so I'm sure he wasn't abused. As I said, probably what happened is that his care family moved out. Either A, he was out of the house when they moved out, or they couldn't take him with them to the new place.
Yeah. Or an old lady died and their family just threw him out. Who knows? Or he could have just got lost.
Or an older lady that was his caregiver died, and then he was outside when she died, and no one thought about checking on the cat.
Yeah. But what ticks me off is we have so many of those like rescues
yes,
here. They're like,
I absolutely agree.
These are cat rescues.
Are wonderful people. Yes.
Yeah, they are. So how much in gift cards did you win?
I won $10. Right? As I explained on the video with Krista at Starbucks, the first was a technicality because I really was number 41 and he said it was number 42. And I was 42. And then when I realized I read the ball, I said, he misread it. It's for 41, not 42. But I guess he realized that since he kept saying 42, 42, 42, that it would be better to just go by what he said and not what the ball said.
Oh.
The same is kind of true with the second gift card, which was given to me out on the wire. He did win legitimately, but he said give it to Michelle. And so what J-Mac suggests in the future, if you win something and you want to give it to somebody else, and you can forward the card to that person. Which means in the case out on the wire, he wanted someone to forward it to me on Discord. And
so how did you redeem them at Starbucks then? Did you just have a code that Starbucks punched in?
Yeah, it's just a code you enter into their point of sale terminal.
Oh, okay.
And I went through all the effort to install the app and everything, which I thought was kind of interesting because the app also allows us to see what other drinks they had. And after I originally saw the hot cocoa in the app, I didn't even go into more detail to see what else they had. And then I found out later on when I was at the rest at the store, saying, "Oh, they have white chocolate too." Here I am sipping on the dark, milk chocolate. I was like, You know what? I want to try that also. I love white chocolate. So
The coffee places have everything now. Every flavor you can think of.
yeah. They seem to
Except
have
for
almost.
almond.
Yeah. I don't think they have almond, right?
No, the place I go to, Big B's, they used to have it. I used to love getting almond mochas, and then they stopped carrying it. So I don't know if the flavor is just hard to get or why.
I don't know. But it's just like
Almond is good.
McDonald's when their shakes, they used to put the maraschino cherry in there. And now they
Yeah, and
don't
the
have
whipped
those
cream.
either because there's been a shortage of cherries for a while.
Really? Huh.
They got so expensive, I guess McDonald's decided to stop putting them in the drinks because they don't stock them anymore.
This McDonald's by me is going to close down. I know it. It sucks so bad.
I know. They're closing a lot of them.
Really? Are a lot of the McDonald's they've lost their pizzazz, right? Their food sucks. They're too expensive. The people that work there suck.
Oh yeah. And I'm sure the people there also probably feel like they're being overworked and underpaid.
Well, most of them are punk kids.
Yeah. I remember that was a very common thing.
And then the older people that work there, they're not much better, so they're not guiding them of how to be, because McDonald's was always like your starting, like your starting place, right? You work at fast food, and then while you're going through college or whatever, right. And then eventually you graduate and move on. And there are a few that make a career out of it, and that's great for them because they get good money, But
right now, with the job market as it is, there really isn't much upward mobility. If you, in the case of McDonald's, you're lucky if you stay there. Most people used to stay in their job for about, for a few years, like McDonald's, and then eventually would go becoming a manager, and then that's when you start making money. But right now, you got people that are either job hunting, or job jumping, I should say. Job jumping like every year, every 2 years, because they're looking for the next best thing. And the sad truth is, a lot of them are saying, well, you know what, I'm not really seeing much better job, but I already gave my notice and now I'm stuck because I didn't find a better job. Or they end up finding a job that's the exact same job that they already were doing in another restaurant, for example. And so that kind of makes it kind of suck too, because it's like, I could go from, say, McDonald's to Denny's. I'm still basically serving customers. I'm serving them different food, but I'm still serving them customers. That's the way service jobs are. And of course, the service jobs, as you know, and I know from working in food service, it's a hard job. It's not a walk in the park. I don't care.
It takes a certain type of person to work with people and to wait on people and understand that that's what you're paid for. So if you get attitude with them, you're in the wrong.
Right.
Because it is your job to cater to these people.
And if you happen to be a server in a restaurant like Friendly's was, where you had your wait staff, and I was good friends with the wait staff. I was a dishwasher. I did a couple times have to bust tables because they were so short of wait staff. Normally the wait staff does it all. When the customer leaves, that they would do it all. But when they were so short during Hell Week, if there was a moment in time, they were like, hey, Michelle, go out there and bust the tables because, we got people coming in so fast, we got to keep those tables clear because our wait staff's taking orders. And so I go out there and bust the tables and bring the dirty dishes back to the dish room to wash. And it's still, and that's just and I stand on my feet a whole 8-hour shift. And I'll tell you, that is hard on your feet. I don't care how many rubber mats you put underneath you. It still causes your feet to get sore. When I was working in American Food Court, I worked in the front of the house too, busting tables. It sucks. And that was even bigger dining room than one at Friendly's was. It was a food court with like a cafeteria design. People would get their trays of food, and then some people would just, of course, leave the trays behind. They wouldn't even bother to pick them up, lift or they eat. All of a sudden, you have to go out there and you have to look to see if there's an abandoned table with all the food. You got to dispose of all the food on the tray. I think the most frustrating thing is when you got customers that just expect, somebody's going to pick up the stuff. And then sometimes they can get really messy. And then you're like, oh my God, I got spilled drinks here. I got, food here, food there. Got stuff on the table I got to wipe down. And I hated front of the house. I really did. I don't mind doing the dishes. Because the dishes are nice. Because the dishes come to you. I put them on the racks. Put them through the machine. And then, when they're dry, stack them up nice and neat, bring them back to the kitchen for the cooks. And that was never a problem. But anybody that works in wait staff, you don't make that much money in wait staff. I think, I don't know what it is now, but back in 1994, it was like 94, 95. It was like you were making like $4 an hour, or was it $5 an hour? I think it was $5. The thing was, you were supposed to be making money on tips. But like one waitress told me, our tips ain't that much. We make, only so much on tips because customers are not really putting out huge tips anymore. And yet we're giving them something like let's say $4. I don't remember the exact charge. I think it was like $3.65 an hour. And then that's not a very good wage back in the 1990s. That sucks. But that's what they were being paid. It's like the company saying, we're expecting to be making money on your tips. But if the customer isn't tipping well, you're not making much. Which frustrates everybody. Mojo says, I'm going to get caught up with some of the side chat here. I worked in a school kitchen. The customers were friendly and enjoyed the food. I think she meant that as a joke. Yeah, but you know what? I'm sure you could say your customers were guaranteed to be a regular crowd that came in during that lunch shift. Because it's the students in the school. But when you're out there in a restaurant that's in the open community, your customer base could change by the minute. Stan CT says some people work on their feet for 40 years or more, Michelle. Yes, I understand that. And it's still hard on your feet, though. Mojo said, in the school kitchen, we had to wear hard boots and set up the dining hall tables, chairs, and salad bar, etc. And that's true. That's a lot of the work that the kitchen staff do have to do, before lunch. It has a lot of work to do that. The prep station, the prep work is... I've done prepping. Some people said I made a lousy coleslaw because I didn't have enough of the coleslaw dressing in it. I followed the instructions. I'm sorry my coleslaw wasn't that good, but at least I followed the instructions that was told how much to make, and it didn't work out. Oh well. You try, Busboys should be getting 50% of the night's tips in addition to the wage. Yeah, they should. But I was one of the few people that was at a regular salary employee. I was making at the time $5 an hour. And I was working with 20 hours a week. So I was half-time. Still, that was a tough experience. And then my employer at Finley said that he would like me to work second shift, which is dinner. And I would have done it, except there was the Willimantic bus wasn't running at night by the time I would have gotten out, which would have been up until closing. I wanted to do it, but unfortunately the transportation wasn't compatible. I lost out on a lot of potential good hours because of that. It wasn't because I was lazy, it was because the mass transit just didn't run and wasn't running the hours I needed to get to work. And that's another valid concern that people sometimes forget, especially if you have a car, right? No, you can work whenever your boss wants because you can guarantee get to work, most likely. But if you could abandon mass transit, you're more dependent on somebody else's schedule, which is in this case of the bus company. I had no choice but to call a cab to go home because the cab was still expensive. I was spending, to get back to Willimantic, I spent at the time, now this is back in 1996, I spent $15 to get home. $15. So if I'm working for 3 hours shift, for this example, that's my cab fare. Which means my net profit, my net income was zero. Now that kind of plane sucked.
Oh yeah!
Our infant school had the food delivered by the mother kitchen in a massive silver tins, and we would set it out accordingly in the warmer. This meant every easy, you just had to be on it. Absolutely, that's very common with a lot of smaller, in your case, organizations like that, where the food would be prepared by, a central kitchen, and for like a public school system would be distributed out in food ways that they could warm it up in the warmers in the microwave because it was cheaper. So instead of having them cook all the food fresh there in that school, for smaller schools, it's just let's go ahead and just get the main school kitchen to make the food, and then they just ship it to us, and then we just put it out, and then we just have to deal with washing the dishes. If you use china or plastic dishes, most people use paper. A lot of restaurants work the same way. Take Dunkin' Donuts, for example. Dunkin' Donuts, for example, no longer makes the donuts fresh. Dunkin' Donuts gets their donuts made by a central donut plant, and then they distribute them by truck several hours a day. Every so many hours a day, a truck would come by and deliver more donuts to that store. Some would say, well, then Dunkin' Donuts doesn't make them fresh on site anymore. No, they don't, because it was cheaper to make it from a central donut processing plant and then distribute them to the restaurants. Well, I don't consider Dunkin' Donuts a restaurant. I call it a coffee shop. That's really what it is. It's a coffee shop. And that's exactly what other places do. Starbucks does the same thing. Starbucks doesn't necessarily make the bagels fresh. They get those delivered, and then they have from the central repository the toppings and things like that. It's called economics of scale. And I mean, a lot of people kind of don't really understand that. They have never worked in food service, but that's the way it is done. Because you got to cut your costs, and if it's cheaper to have a central, regional, or even if regional being like, let's say you got say 5 coffee shops. If you only have one coffee shop, maybe you could actually do make them fresh at that one coffee shop, for that shop and all the other shops. The smaller stores get the food from that coffee shop, and they just warm them up or keep them cold, whatever is required. It saves money in the form of wasted materials, cost, and And that's just the way it's done. It's not because it's good or bad. It's just practical. Nerdwood says, got to go. Much love, everyone. Have a nice, marvelous day. Let PDX know when you see her again that I am still willing to do part 2 of our interview. I will remind her in an email today on Facebook to let her know that I'm still wanting to do part 2. But I hope that you come back tomorrow or tomorrow night or on Blazing Leo shit tonight on her channel. She's going to be on her channel with me Saturday night here at 8 o'clock tonight. Don't forget, Leo, you're going to have to give me the StreamYard's link for that too. But I sure you will. I know. Okay. So that's going to be on Blazing Leo's tonight, 8 o'clock. Also, last night's show was on Kick. And the replay is already still on Kick, but we're also going to upload the replay on Patreon for now as a free view, because we got to get more people to come into Kick, or into Patreon and Kick. So last night's will be as a free view on Patreon, and we really would love to see more people join us on Patreon too. I went to Dunkin' Donuts where they made the donuts right here in the store. They probably do. I don't know when that was, but in our area here, they're made at a central location. I don't know if that's necessarily the same in every Dunkin' Donuts. I bet a very busy Dunkin' Donuts with a high customer base, they probably would make them fresh because they would need to. But in our smaller towns, the Dunkin' Donuts that we have, there's 2 in Winston. Neither one of them make their donuts fresh here. But rather they make them in Torrington. So maybe they're making them at a larger Torrington Dunkin' Donuts for the other Dunkin' Donuts. I haven't worked in food service in 30 years. You're right, I haven't. But I certainly got stories.
Michelle, I'm gonna jump down. I'll see you tonight. I got some things to do, and we'll talk later.
All right, I'll talk to you tonight.
All right. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye, chat.
Yep. Yeah, so, right, I haven't worked in food service in 30 years, but I still watch the trends. I still see what's going on and how things are being done in the business to this day. I still watch that, and I find it absolutely fascinating to do that, to see how things are being done, because it's the trend from the food service in some ways was originally being duplicated from grocery stores and other businesses like Walmart. That is, you don't necessarily keep a huge stock room in the back loaded with tons and tons and tons of extra product, but rather you get your stuff delivered. Again, economics of scale. It's easier to make, or like for Walmart to have a central warehouse, like a district warehouse that delivers things to the stores, than have a store keep a huge inventory in the back room. And that makes sense. So obviously the restaurants and fast foods and organizations like Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts are doing the same thing, because it saves them money. Unfortunately, Botrix, that has expired. I'm going to have to remove that because that link is expired. So I will have to remove the Botrix link for that special and reissue a new set of offer of 10 memberships. And I will put that new link out for next Friday. Thank you very much, Sandwich. Yeah, I mean, there are definitely stores that do make their own stuff in store. And And there's nothing wrong with that. Especially if it's a small mom and pop shop. Where else are you going to make them? There was a lot of independent... When I was living in Stores, Connecticut, we had a small little donut shop called Sugar Shack. Now, Sugar Shack was not a chain. It was an individual mom and pop operation. They made the pastries and stuff fresh. Because they didn't have the kind of distribution system like we're talking about. And a lot of mom and pops do, because they don't have that type of organization. Just like the Gianni's Deli, it makes their food fresh because they're not a chain. But when you're a chain, you got the ability to do distributions and regionalizing things. So, that's just the way they do it these days. So, right now, we're still got the red square of injury, if you want to call it that, because we're not dead yet. We're still here. It's still trying to send out 1,180 megabits per second at 720p. Depending on the video quality, and I will review it afterwards. I'll either replace it with the uploaded local copy, or I'll just keep this one up here. I'm not seeing any lost frame rate, so it just means that you guys are seeing it kind of slower. But we're still sending you the bits. I think his phone battery died because he doesn't carry his charger on him. Or at least he doesn't carry it in his pocket. So I would say, Stan, is why don't you call Tampa General's emergency room and see if you can reach out to him by calling to the hospital phone system. That's what I would suggest you do anyway. I don't think anybody got to him last night. Unless they decided to anesthetize him and knock him out. Or he got moved into an inpatient in the cycle ward or something. That's all I'm going to say. Try calling the hospital directly and find out what's going on. It's another sad reality. And we and Chris were talking about this. As we think that Ed's situation is he's not likely to be a good candidate to live on his own because of his declining health. So he needs to be in a program where he can get the care he needs. Has Ed called you this morning? No, I don't see any messages from him, but I have him blocked anyway, because after he called me at 6:30 yesterday in the morning, I got so mad I blocked him because I didn't want to deal with his phone calls anymore, because I told him, I said, Ed, I can't help you in Tampa. I live in Winsted. I'm over 3,000 miles away. There's nothing I can do for you from Winsted. You're in a hospital on a medical program. The doctors and nurses are there for your health. Or at least they're supposed to be. But I can't do anything from 3,000 miles away. And the fact is, you called me at 6:15, 6:30 in the morning, and I have to get up at 8 o'clock. Means that I was still tired, and I was just starting to doze off, or starting to get into rapid eye movement sleep when you called me. Absolutely frustrates me. I said, I'm sorry, Ed, I'm going to have to temporarily block you so I can get a good morning's sleep. So I'll look on the voicemails and see if you left any messages today. And I'll let you know on Discord if you actually left any message. If I can get the transcription of it, I'll let you see what it says. Yeah, it's just kind of weird that the situation with Ed. I don't know why his health declined so fast mentally. I think part of the reason is because he kind of, after came back up here, after he started being isolated because of the pandemic, he never really quite recovered because of that. Because he's a socialite. He likes to be out there in public. And he couldn't be out there anymore because of lockdowns. And at the same time, his health started to betray him. Which makes it harder for him. So, all I know is that I can just say is I hope he's okay. And I hope he's going to get the medical support he needs. Because the way he's living is not sustainable. He can't keep living like that. Because it's not good for him. And it's hastening his demise, his decline of his health. That's a sad reality.
Oh, yeah!
And I know when you get older, from personal experience, you need a little more help now and then. It's just like the Beatles sing in the song called Help, right? It's okay if you're older, you need a little bit extra help. It's not meant to be an insult to you. At least if you know you need a little help because your movements are slower or your eyesight's not as good, or your hearing sucks. If you're a realist and you realize you need help, you're not going to be afraid to ask for it. If you are the kind of person who thinks you can keep faring on your own and deny your realities that your health is declining. I mean, the realist says, well, in my case, I can't do certain things because I can't easily get on the floor and get off the floor easily. And I can't, my back is, my hips are not as good as they used to be. But you know what? Unless I need the help. There's nothing wrong with saying nicely to somebody, I could use some assistance now at my age. Yes, Stan, I agree with you. He says here, my opinion is that needs a case manager and to be in an asylum or a assisted living facility. But he chooses severe over his health and well-being. Unfortunately, you're 100% right on both assessments. And that's very different than me, because in my case, even though I'm quite capable of doing a lot of things, even I can always use a little helping hand now and then, like I said.
Oh, yeah!
I'm not 30 years old anymore. Oh, he can definitely benefit with therapy. Gemini Jen, he needs therapy too. That definitely would help. So, like I said, it has multiple issues that need to be addressed by qualified, certified people that are in this immediate area. Not someone 3,000 miles away that is neither qualified nor certified. I mean, I know it's not exactly the kind of conversation people want to hear, but it's the sad reality of when you age. And if you haven't been taking care of yourself from the beginning, your needs are going to be more acute. And somebody who has done their best to try to be active and be healthy. And I'm not perfect. I did get a little bit chunky as I got older, and And, I do have physical infirmities that are outside of my control, like falling and busting my kneecap and all that. But yet, the thing is I'm also a realist and says, when I need assistance, I'm going to seek it. Yeah, so like I said, it is, dealing with the demon in the details. We all know what that means. As far as being lonely, yeah, he doesn't really feel the people are very receptive to his assistance, his needs. He feels like he's being shoveled around like jetsam and flotsam, like driftwood. But the thing is that the people that want to help Ed are not able to help Ed because he himself has turned down assistance from people that out of the best interest wanted to help him. And when because of the way our laws are written in this country, we cannot easily force him into getting help. I know as I said the word easily, doesn't mean we can't, but it means that also the reality is this: if you're going to try to force someone to get help, aren't you taking away their free will? I know that goes into the moral part of things. If you say to somebody, well, John Doe, say someone like Ed, is a down and out, drunkard, man with disabilities, declining health, and we want Ed to be in an assisted living facility, and you happen to build up your case to give to the judge, the first thing I think most judges would say is, who's going to pay for the program? 2, what do you have invested into this? And that's the part of it that makes it harder. Because the judge is going to say, John Doe, if you don't actually have anything invested into this, how are you going to provide for him? If you're expecting us here in the state of whatever to do this, given the cost associated with it, he may not get the best care. But sure, he might get, hopefully he would be. Notice this word, hopefully. Hopefully he would be getting better care than he is now on his own. But, again, that's hard to say. That's really hard to say. Because when we closed the mental health asylums down back in the 1980s, all of a sudden we had the homeless population. And we're talking about the people from the asylums that ended up on the street because they had no place to go. And we're still carrying that issue, plus the illegal immigrants that come in now that are also adding to our woes. It's not going to get better unless somebody realizes that we need to fix 2 different systems. Number 1, the mental health system needs to be revised and adapted to realities of what's going on right now.
Oh, yeah!
And 2, we gotta tell Pueblo Sin Fronteras that we cannot take any more people right now and that they need to send the illegals to some other country.
Oh, yeah!
Stan says, Gemini, I talked to Ed 3 times yesterday. He's clearly is mentally unhinged and paranoid delusional. The hospital hopefully will sort everything out for him. Getting him, the case manager is top 1. Yes. And therapy. Let's not forget that. And of course, a long-term living accommodation that's sustainable. He needs that also. I mean, people like Ed, in a state that has largely elderly population, the state understands that these people need places to go and places to be safe. They're set up for it. So why can't they find a place in a program for him that would be practical and make his life better in his twilight years? He needs that. Not being forced to live from place to place, hopping from one place to another. That alone is mentally destabilizing. I mean, you realize, everybody wants to have a place they can call their own. Everybody wants a fixed address that they can call home. Ask any homeless person, and they'll tell you the same thing. I mean, sure, even homeless Mike. He was very happy to have his address, a place that he had as his own. But homeless Mike also still did enjoy going out there and living, on the streets. But he still had an apartment. He wasn't evicted from it. There are people that you cannot say, okay, here's your apartment. Here's your refrigerator. Here's your stove. Here's your food stamps. Go ahead, relax, chill out. Your needs are provided for. Of course, if you are used to living in the street, you're still going to want to do that. But at the same time, you have an apartment now where you can at least say, I can always go home at the end of the day because I have a home to go back to. That's one of the reasons why, even to this day, I still am quietly and very thankful that I still have my apartment. It ain't the greatest. It's not the Ritz-Carlton. It's not the Plaza Hotel. It's not the Trump Towers. But it's my home that I know that I got a key for a door. I put the key into that said door. And I get my mail here, and I have my cat here, and I have my studio here. And it is a place that no one's going to come in and bulldoze down or trash my campsite or my apartment just because they could do it. Because that's the other sad reality about being homeless. You don't have a guaranteed place to sleep. You can leave your campsite in the morning, do what you gotta do. You have your work. Because some are working poor now. They're working homeless now. You can work, do your shift, come home, and find your home completely destroyed by hoodlums or by other people who don't want you there.
Oh, yeah!
And then then you have Schitt's Creek without a paddle again. That's a very different situation. And of course, we all know that one of the things about people that are homeless is that some cities have criminalized homelessness. Let me just talk about that real quick. First of all, to be criminal means that you have been convicted of something. What exactly did the homeless do to become criminals? They weren't even convicted in a court of law. How would that work? You see a homeless guy on the street, you're going to arrest him, cuff him, and stuff him, bring him to court, and he's going to be charged for the charge of being a vagrant? And then you're going to go ahead and tell him, okay, so-and-so, you have been proven guilty in this court of law. You are now a criminal. And the poor guy goes, great, so now I can't even find a job because now I got a criminal record. You tell me, does that help the man get off the street? No.
Oh no!
Of course not. Because now he's got a record now because he was a vagrant and he was convicted in the court. So now it's already bad enough that he was already lucky enough to have a job, that he could barely find a place to keep clean, because they really don't have the support services that the homeless need. Like a shower. Or even necessarily a place to take care of bathing and evacuating in the bowels and the bladder. So yeah, you live like an animal because you don't have a choice. And that plain stinks. I mean, I don't have to be no rocket scientist to see where this is going. In a case of the home, or a case of the mentally ill, the closing of the mental institutions in many states in the 1980s, saying that the regional authorities, such as Western Connecticut Mental Health, is going to be there to provide for them. That program has not worked out that way. It hasn't. They got a crushing caseload, number of patients that they see. Medications there's given to patients, as long as the medications are being monitored and supervised to make sure that, one, there's not getting other side effects from those medications, for one thing. And that's another thing, too, is that how can you be sure the patient is able to get their medications? How do you know they're taking them? You don't. You don't. Because the system is partially broken and hasn't really found a way to keep an eye on what they were supposed to do. And that hurts everybody, including the patient themselves. No, I don't think so. I talked to Jimmy about Ed. He doesn't want Ed back here. And he knows Ed cannot afford the apartment. You know what? It's surprising. How come Jimmy never offered Homeless Mike the same opportunity? Homeless Mike, he grudgingly let stay in my apartment because he knew I needed assistance. And that was, for the most part, a pretty good deal. He didn't make any money off Homeless Mike, but he knew he was helping me during my early years of my injury to keep functioning. I'm surprised that Jimmy didn't go to Homeless Mike and say, hey, look, here's the deal. You're helping out Michelle, I appreciate that. If I gave you an opportunity to sleep anywhere else, would you take it? To my knowledge, he never offered that to Mike at all. And Mike was a good man that truly did care about the community and did not get himself into trouble doing the kind of stuff that Pedo Gary did. And he was well loved by the community at large.
Oh, yeah!
And that's important to remember. Stan, he already knows Jimmy's phone number. But right now, it sounds like his phone battery went flat, so he has no way to call him anyway. Hi, Rick. How you doing? Good morning to you. So, you see, guys, the problems with the world is a lot more complicated than just America. Although we think, and most Americans do. Most Americans think on the local level. The politicians, however, no, they're thinking on levels that are way outside of the average everyday concern. Which brings me back to the political stuff. So I'll just make it quick because it is almost 12 noon. I got about 6 minutes, so bear with me. Number one is that in this country, the American politicians, especially on the far left, are so concerned about getting rid of national borders and basically saying that nations should only exist by name only. But the sense that they're saying everybody for one world leaves a couple things to be desired. So let's go through these. Number one, if the nations themselves cannot supply the needs for the people, that does not bode well for anybody. It means that you gotta fix your house and get your house in order first before you worry about taking on more responsibilities. It's just like those people who collect and rescue stray animals. Okay? If you can't provide for your own pets, how can you take on any more pets? If you can't provide food and shelter for your own kids, how can you provide for other people's kids? And likewise, if a city can't deal with the existing homeless population, how can they take on more homeless people? Next thing's with open borders concept that the New World Order keeps talking about. If you really want people to have the ability to freely travel without borders, then we need to get rid of all the visa restrictions and immigration policies that prevent them from doing that. But that also creates the problem that, like I said, if the countries themselves can't even provide for their own people, how can you expect them to take on even more responsibilities?
Oh, yeah!
It's ridiculously beyond reprehension, and it's incomprehensible. That's the problem what these far left organizations are not thinking about. You gotta start by taking care of your own people before you worry about opening the door to everybody else. I have no idea, Stan. Connecticut law does not require landlord to pest extermination. It's just funny, but it's true. But we'll get to that on another topic. The thing is that I see the problems I see exactly what's going on here with this the world economic stuff, the far left. How about this as a suggestion from the Purple Party? World Economic Forum, Davos Group, Bilderberg Group. Here's the deal. You want all this stuff to be open borders and all that, but are you realize that that's going to cost money? Are you going to ante up all that money needed to finance all these programs? If the answer is no, then I'll just be honest and say we can't afford to do it either. Because it costs money. And so if someone can't finance it because no one can afford it, it can't be done at this time. You know, that's the reality. If all the George Soros of the world actually donated money to the organizations that actually finance them, these people to come in here, gave them the appropriate paperwork, gave them the appropriate places to live, financed everything, instead of throwing them at America's doorstep or UK's doorstep, because we didn't talk much about the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom is being flooded with migrants too. And they're having the same problem that we are. They have no more beds for them, and they don't know what to do either. It's not that we don't want to help the people, but if we cannot provide then we would be doing them an even worse and more grave disservice by trying to say, come on in, but I don't know where I'm going to put you.
Oh, yeah!
We need to come up with policies in this country, in this world, that makes sense and protects the dignity and the humanity of everyone. Stan, my pest problem is nothing compared to the problems that are going on with the world right now. Trust me. We took care and we dumped the old busted microwave in the tip, which is basically was long overdue to be replaced anyway. Okay? Even though I had a ton of boric acid behind the counter, apparently the roaches knew where it was and they just kind of walked around it. That's kind of sad, but reality. My apartment is not as bad as it was because we did clean up that area behind the microwave when I threw it out in the dumpster, and I put I wiped down the counter to get rid of the excessive boric acid and cleaned the plate rail, and it looks better now. And I think that's important to keep in mind. But even me, financially, I can only do so much too. But at least I'm making an effort. And sometimes, though, baby steps for some people, else you need to consider cost. If I called Orkin or Terminix, they're going to cost me a lot of money each month. And like they've already told me, if we spray your apartment and treat your apartment for the problem, those bugs are just going to go elsewhere. And then after our pesticides wear off, we're going to come right back again. It's like trying to empty the ocean with a teaspoon. That's not going to go away unless the whole building is treated properly at one time. And you can't afford to do it. You really can't. Yeah. Well, that's good to know, but apparently Jimmy's not the only landlord that hasn't done that. I've lived in a few other buildings where that was never dealt with either, probably because no one filed a civil suit. Civil suits cost money, a lot. That's why they get away with it, because they use the courts, which is great when you can afford it. Stan, you know this. You work in the court system. The system that the well-to-do use is the courts. Whereas, unfortunately, just like I'm in a Virgo, like the woman said, the poor, all they got is to do crime, which then is enforced, which is treated in the criminal courts, where the rich can say and can sue the poor, incarcerate the poor, but the poor don't have the same legal legs to stand on when you got a civil case because they can't afford it. Yeah, but guess what? The way things are is that, number one, I have to file a case. If I file a case, I got to pay for that case. I got to pay for the lawyer. And then I could still end up homeless. And that's the reason why so many low-income people will never file a court case. Because they can't afford the process. Well, it's not quite the same thing as medical health, although I've been certainly denied plenty of times for medical care as well. If I can't even make sure I can get the medical care I need, do you think I'm going to be able to get the issue about bug treatment? Until recently, I didn't even have an insurance plan that even covered dental and vision. Now, I got to find a doctor that takes that, which is probably going to be easier because it's a well-known organization in our state. But then I still have to find a way to get to the doctor's appointment, which me and Krista are working on both. Don't forget, Monday I have to walk to my medical doctor for my yearly health assessment. So I might as well bring this up now. It's not going to affect the morning show because it's still going to be from 10 to 12. And then at 3 o'clock, I have to walk over to Community Health and Wellness for my 3 o'clock appointment. Meet with the nurse there, and then come back home again on foot. So the point is I will be walking around a little bit on Monday afternoon. Maybe you guys might see me in town when I walk up there. Hello, Noodles. How you doing? QEQ. Oh, yes, I see you now. Hold on a minute, please. I'll let you on. I didn't see you before. I was doing my monologue. Let me get you on real quick here. Admit one. Happy birthday to you, by the way.
Hey, Michelle. How are you?
Doing all right.
So, what's going on with the show? People are telling me that the show's terrible now.
No,
Nobody's fucking watching.
No, it's not. The show's doing actually very well, actually. We have a pretty large regular crowd today. We have...
There's nine people here.
The unofficial view count is 106. And we have had several excellent videos. The Starbucks video was very successful. The Slap Chop video was good. The Toaster Oven review video was good. The videos are doing good. The live stream on Kick yesterday was very good with Leo. And, of course, meeting with Frankie McDonald yesterday's Daily Show was very successful as well. So the shows have not been lousy. The shows have been doing very well.
So what does successful mean to you?
Well, that's just it. For me, success is reaching out to people. And we are doing that. We certainly are. We are reaching out to a very select group
Carlos,
of people.
I'll unblock you. I'll go into the YouTube. I didn't know you were blocked. I'll check it out. I'll do it now. Right. Go ahead, Michelle.
You're not blocked.
No, Carlos Martinez is, I think, on my channel. I got to unblock him.
Okay. So, let's see. We got a name that looks like it's in Cyrillic. It says, Ripchi Mangoes. Noodles, can you unblock me, bro? That's what he was asking you. Yeah, okay. By the way, welcome to the show. How you doing today? I don't know how I'm supposed to read that script, but let's just say to the person talking to Noodles, welcome to the channel.
So, Michelle, are you going to stay friends with Frankie McDonald?
Yes. He's also on the spectrum like I am, too.
You're right. Have you talked to him today?
Not today, but he's now on my Discord. And I did, as I said, he was also visited, I believe, my Discord, and I believe he also has plans. Did he go on last night's show on Kick? I think he was in Kick last night, too. I think he was.
Is he promoting you?
I don't know. I didn't ask him to, but I suspect he certainly is going to share me out to his friends. Because he said he would do that. Oh. I'm registered.
So let me ask you a question. How did you get in touch with Frankie McDonald?
By email. I emailed him because he had his professional email address, and I sent an email to him. I said who I was. I said I'd like to have you on my show. I said I would like to know if you'd be interested in me interview. He said yes, and then we sat down on email and we talked about the date and the time, and then we scheduled everything ahead of time and gave him the Google Meets link for the panel, and that's why he was on yesterday because we planned it.
He didn't. Again, he didn't reach out to you. You reached out to him, right?
Yes, I sent him an email. Yes.
Okay. Now, my question to you is, how many times, right, have we told you to do this? And how many times have you said, no, have them reach out to me?
How many times, I'll be honest, News, how many times have I gone to people's channels that they suggested, and then I go look for an email address or contact address, and I don't find one? And then I have to send them a message on one of their videos, and then they think it's probably a troll, and they probably delete it. That is, let me be honest to everybody. Please give in your email address somewhere, even if it is a professional email address that they normally have to click on the view. Please give us an email address if you want me to be able to invite you onto a stream or channel so I can reach out to you. Not just having me posting a message on one of your videos. Because depending on the situation, the person may never see it. Because maybe one of their mods that looks at the video thinks it's spam and they delete the message. So if I can send you an email, because you have the link on your about page, I will post and I will send you an email. Just like I did with Katroya J. I sent her an email, but she still hasn't gotten back to me yet. And I'm gonna try. I did try to reach out to her a second time, and she still never got back to me.
So, how many people have we reached out to, Michelle? Be on your channel. How many in the past?
How many people have reached out to me, except for me to sponsor their products? Not many.
Okay. No, I asked you, how many people have you reached out to, Michelle? And they haven't got back to you.
I sent out several messages to Rebecca Marina Messenger, Katroya J, a couple other people that I would like to have on my show. So out of the 10 messages I sent out this year, which excludes 2023, I only got 2 back. And Frankie was one of the
Michelle, that's how it works, though, right? So you kept doing it, you did it over and over again, and you finally got someone. It's called hustling. That's how it works. You know, you gotta do this, Michelle. This is how it works. I just want to. The reason why I'm asking this, Michelle, is I want you to be fully aware of how you got this to happen. You made this happen.
Yeah, I know that.
And nobody reached out to you, Michelle. You know what I mean? Like you did it. That's all I'm trying to prove to you. And I want you to know that that's how you do it. And regardless if it's 10 people and maybe one person responds back,
right?
Michelle,
I agree with that. But like I said, is the hardest thing is when those people don't have an email address you can email to. Those are the ones that makes it hard.
All right, so Michelle, when you're working out, right, and you feel your arms getting stronger, your body's getting stronger. That took a lot of work, right? And you feel better. Yeah. You feel healthy. Michelle. This is how it works. Nothing's easy. People just don't give you a shit. You gotta reach out and make these things happen. That's all I want you to. I don't know if you were fully aware of what you did.
I know I did. I know the steps I did. I know why I had to do the steps I did, and that's what's important. And Frankie certainly understood what it was about because I was very clear. I said I'd like to interview you on my channel. I said it in plain, everyday American English, and in less than 300 words. Actually, more like less than 100 words. Yeah. And he said yes, and we agreed on a day and a time, and I gave him the link, and he came up, and we had a good show.
So, do you remember when Gidgey suggested that you send out 1,000 of those?
Yeah, well, I don't know if I can do 1,000, but I'll tell you what. Please, I'm going to suggest, Noodles, this includes you too. In your About section, please give your email address so people can reach you outside of leaving messages on your chats. Okay? It's so easy. You don't even have to make it public and readily just exposed. You can actually have them stay hidden until they click on it. It's so easy to do. Okay? Mine, I have both exposed and as a clicked on email address. So either way, you cannot miss me. Go look at my About 6 on my channel. You'll see that. I would love to try to reach more people. But if you don't have an email address that I can send you messages to, it makes it very difficult. And that's what I'm saying is, professionally, we need a contact link that I can reach you at. Even if it is an Instagram or Facebook. Although I'd rather send you a direct email. But if I have to, I will send it to you a link to other sources. And that makes common sense. It really does.
So getting back to what we were originally talking about, Michelle.
What we're talking about is for make it easier for people to reach them for interviews. If they have an email address that we can email you at.
I've said 3 times already.
Michelle, we get it. Michelle.
I'm glad you understood. I said it 3 times already. Because it's very important.
So originally we were talking about this, Michelle. Okay. You do this a million times, Michelle. Let's say you get one fucking person.
Yep.
Is it worth it to you?
What, to email a person?
Yeah. Let's say you had to do it a million times and one person responds.
And if I really do feel that they're a good candidate for the interview, I am going to reach out to them. I will reach out to people that I think are good candidates. And Frankie was, because he was very much in the same information or I am with meteorology that I am. And he was very similar in kindred spirit. So it's easy for me to reach out to him because I understood what he was interested in. And he also apparently does know a little bit about me and was interested in being on the show equally. That's the way it works. And yes, I will be on JMax on Wednesday of this week coming up. So in case you asked. I don't have anything planned for Wednesday evening. So JMax, I will be on Blazing Leos tonight at 8:00. So why don't you come on over to Blazing Leo tonight, Noodles, and say hi.
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, Michelle. All right. Blazing Leo is a fucking bitch. All right. I fucking hate Blazing Leo.
Well,
I think she should go jump off a bridge. Okay.
Oh, that's fine.
I will never go.
Noodles, but I don't agree with you. I think she's a very, very good person.
I'm kidding. I know.
But I'm still going to stand my ground no matter what. Anyway, the point is that tonight I'm going to be on her show. So you're going to see me at 8:00 on Blazing Leo's live stream. And likewise, on Wednesday, I will be on JMax at 5:00 Eastern Time for his game night.
All right. So this is the thing, Michelle. Again, I just want you to be fully aware of like what you did. You know, I want you to be aware that, you know, even though you reach out to some of these people, they don't respond. The fact that this guy did, it's Michelle, it is what it is. And, you know, that's how you get things done. And I just think you should be doing more of it, you know, just more. That's all.
Stan CT said Zombies is live drinking vodka with a monster chaser. Why do I care what he's drinking?
He's a piece of shit. He's a piece of shit, Michelle.
Rick, I know you're a good person. But like I said, Rick, the problem is that what has happened to you, unfortunately, has tainted your reputation.
Michelle, we just got rid of Rick. We just destroyed his channel in like 2 seconds. His channel's destroyed, Michelle. I ruined it.
I think.
Rick?
I don't know, Michelle. Was it? I have no idea.
MacBook Pro.
They send that to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was putting background. Someone was tapping on the door. Oh, okay.
Don't leave that up there.
Someone.
What do you mean? If it breaks, they're going to be like, oh, you broke it already?
Once they sue me.
Really?
Huh?
Really?
They don't track that shit. But what they do is they kill it remotely. So I already have
Okay.
2 laptops.
How do they kill it remotely?
It was your background. I thought it was my door, but it wasn't. Okay, so at least I looked. Okay. Oh, it says where I kill it remotely. So I already have. How did they kill it remotely? They control. What are you talking about, Noodles?
I just got a new iMac Pro.
Okay. You got an iMac Pro, so you got the.
Yeah.
You got the 27
Yeah, but
inch.
I can't do anything. It belongs to the government, Michelle. I can't.
You can't what?
Can't do anything with it. The government. It's a government computer.
Oh, okay. So it's for your work. Okay.
It's salivating over it.
All right. Well, Rick also basically put money on here as a member, so I think he should at least given a little bit of respect.
All right. So what we did with Rick, we just killed his channel. Okay. We're bringing Rick back as the Rick Berry's beloved life, or Rick Berry's beautiful life. We're gonna do a new show. It's gonna be awesome. Rick Berry's coming back, and he's coming back as Rick Berry's beautiful life.
I know he just recently moved too.
Well, now he's single, and now he's ready to mingle. Rick Berry has finally dumped the scumbag known as Chris, and we destroyed his channel just 20 minutes ago. All right, his channel's gone because I fucking showed guns and everything, and we're starting over fresh.
By the way, speaking of closing down, I'm thinking about closing my Discord because it's not even being used right now. Michelle's is getting all the activity. But also we
thanks, man.
we also
You mean Loomies? Discord?
Yeah, I mean Lummies, mean my server, yeah. Because it's
because you don't promote it, Loomy. That's why.
Well, because
nobody even knows it exists.
Right. Well, besides that, the reason why we don't promote it was because for a long time, there were people that I would say are unsavory or around that promoted that I was afraid I was going to get buried in bad people. And of course, since it's associated with my channel, and we're now going to be doing more videos to my channel soon, very soon. I'd say probably today, me and Lumi are going to do some videos on her channel. So we're going to move this camera here, over here, not this one here, this one, yeah. We're going to move this one from the Christmas tree back to the couch. So Lumi and me can do videos on the couch. We'll keep the giving tree where it is. And we're also going to start hanging on little 3x5 index cards. So
Monday is Martin Luther King Day. You're going to take it down on Martin Luther King Day, the Christmas tree? Martin Luther King. Yeah.
No, we're just going to keep it up year round, but it'll be used as a giving tree, meaning that donations can be highlighted on the tree. So that when we start getting donations, we'll start writing a 3x5 index card right now, because I think we still have some. And then we'll make little hooks and hang them like little Christmas ornaments on the branches.
Maybe you can make decorations in your fans' names. Like, so for instance, like...
Absolutely, I'm thinking about that. Yeah, so the people that donate to YouTube, Patreon, Kick, they'll have like a little card on the tree so that they can actually be recognized for their donations to the channel and for donations and subscriptions to other networks.
Michelle, what do you think about... Yeah, sorry.
Okay, also I was going to say was please do check out the Patreon page because we are going to put last night's restream up there so that you can watch it, and we'll make that a free view as well. Because it was a really good show, man. It was me and Leo. We were on there for at least 2 hours last night. And we covered a lot of topics. And we'd love to see you guys check out last night's Kick stream. And it's also on Kick as a video on demand. But because that's only up there for like 15 days, that will be on Patreon also as a free view. The idea is Michelle needs to get more people to join Patreon, because if you want to see more content or stuff that we can put on Patreon that YouTube doesn't seem to want to leave Michelle alone about. And so, videos from 2021, a couple of them were deleted by YouTube again, claiming medical misinformation. And so Michelle wants to preserve some of the most notable videos of importance. And also, we're going to be focusing more on videos and not as much as live streams like she explained on the Starbucks video. So, we're not going to add a lot more live streams than we already are, but we are going to do more videos. Yes. We're not canceling any live stream shows either. Because we're still going to keep Silvermoon Radio on Sunday night, 7 o'clock on Kick. I know we have our audience that enjoys them. And I do want to encourage more people to join. It's free. Then we have the after show, which is on Kick. And sometimes we put it on YouTube also. Watch the space for that. And of course, we have the morning show, Monday nights through Saturday, 10 a.m. to about 12 noon, unless I have appointments or something, which in that case, we have the alternative time slot at 3 o'clock. Yesterday was an exception to the norm because Frankie McDonald could do it 1 o'clock. And so we had to make accommodations for Frankie, which I still thank him very much for being on the show yesterday. No, Stan. No, I've been in the boiler room. It's really very simple. It's got a large what to call a easy gas burner from Carlin installed, and a fairly modern hot water boiler with a manifold feeding about 12 circulator pumps, and another circulating pump that feeds the indirectly heated large 100-gallon hot water heater, which heats the hot water for the building. Unless you're a gearhead, most people are not going to give a fuck about seeing the boiler room. So, like I said, he said is, what do you think about, yeah, sorry, he says. So it says here, maybe you can make decorations in your fans' name. As I said, that's exactly what we're going to be doing. And lastly, but not leastly, we are not canceling any shows, live streams, but we're not going to be adding any more live streams to the schedule, as we know that the videos actually have more value for more in detailed topic discussion. Oh, by the way, even though I didn't miss this, we did find the solution to the ear problem. Yes, we did. Notice the ears are both perky and upright now, and they're not floppy. It turned out the problem with Michelle's ear was that she had to reposition it on her ear better. Once she got it done, the ear's staying where it should be, and it doesn't look like the ear's half trunk anymore. Absolutely. Absolutely, and the guy was a Freddy Krueger. He was not very well regarded by the community at large at all. he had a worse reputation than anyone here. And that's saying a lot. This guy was a real basket case. No one liked him. He was a confirmed sexual predator in the United States. He's registered in the sexual offenders list. Nobody wanted him. He was a drunken, drug-using bum. I mean, come on. My landlord could have picked much better people. Why would you pick that? Stan CT says, Jojo, I've unlocked the YouTube algorithm. Well, that's fine, Stan. I don't know what you mean by unlocked. If you're talking about SEO, stream, echo optimization, stream enhanced optimization, trending videos. Well, let's put it this way. It depends on which demographic you're on. Because we all know that my channel only really gets, so much support from a certain economic group. It's too fringe. It's not dogs on skateboards. It's not cute kitty cats, although we do have Rusty on panel on occasion.
Michelle, I just ordered some fucking Japanese Thai cuisine.
Okay. Do you
I got
like
some
that?
frog legs and some octopus brains and some fucking cow pussy.
Yuck.
So he's only drinking.
Yeah. Yeah. So the good news is my ears are up now. So I still want to get some new ears from Aerodani because I'm sorry, Dimitri, but after wearing these ears, is that he's just starting to get his production up. But I think that the quality needs to go in before I invest more money in ears from Dimitri right now. But I'm not saying I won't buy ears from Dimitri. But I think that he's got to get some of his production back up to where it was.
Dimitri's ears are second to none, Michelle. Second to none.
Actually, I think Aerodani's ears are better. Aerodani's
really?
Ears, yes.
Maybe Dimitri has to step up his fucking game. His ear game.
Yeah, I know. But then again, he just got transplanted from where he used to live in the Ukraine to Glasgow, Scotland. And of course, that means that, from what I understand, he basically had to
Mike, your girlfriend's here.
Oh, who's Mike's girlfriend's? Welcome.
She sees all the guns.
Oh, Sarah Beth, how you doing? Good morning, Sarah Beth. How you doing today? I've been homeschooling. She said, let's start from the very beginning, mister. She says, I've been busy. My kid got kicked out from the school because he's too advanced. I have to find a mid-school year for kindergarten. I've been homeschooling. Cyrus, let me be honest when I say this right now. It would be much better for you to homeschool your kid than to send them to a public school system to be indoctrinated in their woke bullshit. I don't know. I need to do a whole video on that, but I do wonder how they're going to do with that. Those cold temperatures of minus 30 degrees Fahrenheit, or about what? Minus. Oh, it's almost the same temperature in Celsius, really. It's just about close with wind chill like that. It's minus 40 is the same, so minus 30 is what? Minus 25 something degrees Fahrenheit. Celsius.
Bianca can't go anywhere tonight, Michelle. It's snowing. Bianca ain't going anywhere. She better have gone out and bought all that weed, Bianca. You better have gone out and bought all your weed, Bianca, because you're not going out at all.
You guys asked me for snow for the West Coast, and now you got it.
There you go.
I think it should be tonight. He's so lonely. Well,
Michelle, did you see Krista's beautiful video wishing me happy birthday on the anniversary of her father's passing? I mean, she didn't have to do it. Krista, you didn't have to do that.
I didn't check it out.
I love you, Krista.
I have to look at the videos. I will get to them because I was kind of doing something else this morning, and then I got up and got ready. I got up at 6-something in the morning, got cleaned up and everything. Watched a few pieces of news about the Trump cases, and then I fell asleep again. I woke up at 9 o'clock, 9:30, came out here, and set up for the show. Because I was already dressed and everything, so I didn't have to worry about getting dressed because I was already dressed. So that was kind of convenient for me. Yeah.
Seasons has weed, Michelle. Seasons has weed.
Tell Mike hi, please. Mike's your son? Hi, Mike. Welcome to the show. I hope you and hope your mom will give you an account too in my system so you can join also. So you can become a member when we have gifted out memberships.
Who are you talking to, Michelle?
He reads and writes in the 4th grade level. Oh, that's a great thing.
Sorry, Michelle. I just took a birthday hit. Oh my God.
Well, she says her son reads and writes at a 4th grade level. So in that case, how's his mathematics and his other skills that he needs, like social studies? So in that case, he can go to a Montessori type school. He could probably benefit from something like a Montessori type school, which would be fantastic if you can find a Montessori type school in your area, or even a parochial school that may specialize with kids that are in advanced studies.
Seasons, you're never going to make it up that hill, Seasons. You cannot. You cannot go driving. Seasons is stuck there all day. So Seasons, you're not going to have any excuse not to sexy text. Seasons.
Hi, Nash. Welcome
it's going to be show. All day, all night. Go ahead, Michelle.
Yeah, I see. Be careful. After all, it was a little tiny patch of black ice that changed my life irreparably. Yeah.
You want to talk to Michelle?
Noodles, Mom.
Johnny Wawa wants to talk to you, Michelle.
Hey, Michelle.
How you doing?
How you doing?
I remember you were you're the older roommate, right?
Yep.
Yeah, well, I talked to, yeah.
Have a good day.
Yeah. You have a nice
Johnny
day
Wawa was
too.
disgusted by you, and he wanted me to get off the phone.
Yeah. He's not disgusted by you. He's not disgusted by me. He and I had actually a wonderful conversation when I was over your house. Is what the old education recommended. Exactly. So you just gotta find one that would be suitable for you, that is not too, inconvenient to get him into.
Oh, wow, Michelle, I'm super high right now. I'm all loosey-goosey. The THC is running through my veins, and I'm packing heat, too, by the way.
Okay. I love snow, but I can't drive in it. Definitely don't drive in it. Bianca.
Seasons can barely drive.
My birthday is beginning in March, said Mojo. Well, this way. You let your people know where they can send your money to CashApp or PayPal me or whatever, and maybe people will do that. And if you got enough people to get actually memberships on your channel, they might do that too.
Yes, Nads. Yes, thank you. Stay put, Seasons. Stay put.
Yeah,
and
don't.
sexy text me nonstop. Woo!
Oh, anyway, Noodles, I was
Oh
gonna
yeah,
get
that's
ready.
right. It's my birthday sexy text seasons. Birthday sexy text. Woo! Go, Michelle.
So
Do. Oh yeah.
let me ask you a related question about that. In your religious system, do you even celebrate birthdays at all?
No, I don't.
So I bet
I don't. You don't want to know why, Michelle? Because like, I think it's like a form of like self worship, and I think it's cheap. I try to do it every day with you, with everyone that's here. Like, I want to, if you, Michelle, if you became a millionaire overnight, right? Do you want to be a millionaire alone, or do you want to be a millionaire with other people, with your friends?
Right. And if I was a millionaire, the first thing I would do is try to make this world, at least to my extent, a decent place.
Oh yeah!
Right. And you would want the people that surround you to be happy, right? You wouldn't want them to be miserable. You don't want.
Yeah, I want people around me to be happy because, as I said, I would like to make the world a better place. Because
right. So when we celebrate birthdays, why is it all about us? Like the one person. I want to celebrate. I celebrate every day with everybody. I want that. I don't want them celebrating me. I want them to be happy being themselves and being around me. With Sarah, with Nads, with Stan. That's what I want. I don't want it to be about me.
well, I understand that. That's why, like I said once before, I guess we had to go back into the macabre again, is when I go and I go home, I'm not even having a funeral. I'm not having a memorial service. And I'm going to have an unmarked grave. Because I don't want
Stan, I wouldn't put it past that fucking scumbag. I wouldn't put it past them. I would not put it past them. Sorry, go ahead, Michelle.
Stan CT says, Noodles, is Berg's really having till 1 year death anniversary? Cyrus Beth says, but yeah, I just wanted you to know I miss you, MMD, for real. I consider you friend. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Moses said, Stan, it wouldn't surprise me. The POS. What's good is go back. What Stan was saying is Noodles. That's right, Bergs and Jill. Okay. Nat said, oh, Bianca, you got a long night ahead of you with your man. Stan CT says, I know
tons of titty pics, Michelle. Tons of titty pics, and I'm gonna make Season send me some spread eagle photos. Spread eagle.
I'm sure she could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sarah Beth says, Chris. Well, first we'll go, Krista. She says, same. I think of you as a friend too, and I do also. Sarah, I really appreciate you being here.
Michelle, why don't we tell everybody how much you love everyone here? Tell them how much you love them.
I am telling everybody how much I love them, but you didn't. You just missed it. I just said that I appreciate all the people that are here. I appreciate.
Yeah, but Michelle, the retards don't get what you're saying. So we're talking to the retards. Tell everyone that you love them, Michelle. I love you guys so much, and if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here. Woo! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Like that.
And if people didn't actually feel like coming to the show, there wouldn't have been a show. Which is true.
Yeah.
And that's something to keep in mind, too.
Now, Seasons hasn't been watching the show, Michelle. I can tell right now. Seasons just asked, Michelle, do you want to be buried or cremated?
I'm not going to be turned into a charcoal briquette, so I want to be buried in a green burial. And $1,800 per plot, Stan, that's actually not that expensive, really.
Oh yeah!
Yeah, but Michelle, I think it's like $300 to get you cremated.
I'm not going to be cremated. I don't want to be a charcoal briquette. I don't want my body to go to the equivalent of hell.
Oh yeah!
What about if we turn you into some jewelry, like maybe like a diamond or something like that? Would you want to become a diamond?
No, I'm going to be turned into compost. because that way I can give back to the earth. Yes, I took out $10,000 life insurance plus $20,000 accidental death insurance. Being I am legally blind and given Winston's traffic, that seems to be a prudent idea.
But Michelle, why don't we just burn you and scatter your ashes into the dirt instead of having to bury your whole entire body, with all those juices in it? Let's just dehydrate you and fucking set you on fire. You'll come in a nice little package, and
they will just basically wrap my body in a burlap bag, and then place me in the ground with an RFID tag, and then cover me with dirt. Easy peasy, cheap, simple. I don't want a headstone. I don't want a memorial. I don't want a funeral. That's all I want. To leave the world the same way I came in, quietly.
Well, how about this? Why don't we get you a plot right next to the homeless Mike? You want to rest next to homeless Mike?
I don't even know where homeless Mike is buried.
He's buried at St. Joseph's.
Okay, it would make some sense. I guess they must have wrapped up the autopsy by now. Yeah, that's a possibility. But actually, I want it to be buried in the graveyard beyond my building. But there's a catch. That's a Civil War cemetery, and I don't know if the Civil War cemetery is actually taking on new burials at this time. Because
here's the thing, Michelle. If they don't want to bury you there, this is what we can do. If they say, hey, you know what? You can't bury Michelle here. There's no room. It's a Civil War cemetery. She wasn't part of the Civil War, blah, blah, blah. What we can do is we can cremate you, right? And scatter your ashes in the
I am not going to become a charcoal briquette. I already told you that. I already made it clear. Okay? I have done all my best in life to stay out of hell. I don't want someone putting my body through hell when I'm gone, because that's not fair to my remains, and it's not fair to my physical being. In fact, I want to check out something as a backup plan, just in case, and see if you can still bury me in the backyard here. Because it's right next to the cemetery. I wonder what the laws are in the state of Connecticut about that, because some states allow that to be done.
Maybe we can. Yeah, I think that's right, Michelle. I think that's for pets only. I don't think it's for human beings. But how about this, Michelle? Why don't we throw you into the freezer where Gary was sleeping underneath the building?
He wasn't in the freezer. First of all, in all reality, if you want to talk about who ended up going because of the cold, it was homeless Mike. Because I saw his tent site, he didn't even have a sleeping bag or anything to keep warm. That's sad.
Michelle, you know what happened to him, Michelle? I hate to say this, Michelle, but
I definitely think he definitely did pass out, and he definitely had nothing no sleeping bag, no blankets, no nothing. And then he probably just froze to death.
So, if it makes you feel any better, Michelle, when you if you did pass out and it was because of drugs, he wasn't feeling anything.
We don't know what it was from. I'll say that we don't know why he passed.
They have to know, Michelle. I mean, if it was a drug overdose, Michelle, he would have passed in about 5 minutes. If it's hypothermia, Michelle, it takes about 15-20 minutes for you to fully expire.
Well, as far as I know, and that's just it. As far as I know, it was a cold night. Then the next day they found him. So, why he passed out there, we don't know that. But if he did die from freezing to death, then we do know that. It's very likely, because he did not have a sleeping bag in his tent. And we know that.
Yeah, so that's not even how it works, Michelle. I'm going to be honest. I slept in sleeping bags before. you can't just sleep in a tent and that's it. I saw the tent, Michelle. There was no grounding. It wasn't off the ground. Like it was just Michelle. He would have.
Yeah, I know that. I know that, Noodles. That's what I'm saying. Okay? But again, we don't know all the facts. But there was no sleeping bag. There was no insulation between him and the ground at all. None. Which means that he was sleeping out there in his street clothes. And that's hypothermia because he was also sleeping on a concrete slab. Talk about a heat sink.
Michelle, are you sure that they didn't find him in a sleeping bag and maybe they just took everything? Like, I mean, why would they leave?
No, no one went to his campsite after he died when they found him there. Everything that was there, which was just a tent. He had nothing else. I saw the beneficiary for Michelle when she passed pay for life insurance. That's right, Krista is my beneficiary. And she also will take care of the processing of my corpse. And we were going to go try to get in contact with the local funeral home to find out which cemetery would gladly take care of the burial procedures. St. Joseph's is a good possibility if they can do green burial.
Nick, I don't know what the fizz is. I don't know what thizzle dancing is. I have no idea. Michelle, do you know what the fizz is? What thizzle dancing is?
I don't know who that is. Oh, Nick News Network. I know who Nick News Network is.
He's a scumbag Jew. That's scumbag Jew.
Well, anyway, guys, Noodles, I'm going to get ready to wrap it up. I got a few hours to chill out before tonight's show at Noodles Channel at 8 o'clock. And I welcome everybody to be on that show tonight. So, hopefully, Noodles, you'll come over and say hi to Blazing Leo on her live stream, because I'll be there with her. I'll be covering some news and things like that. And also, for those of you who did get a chance to get on Kick, please watch the replay from last night. It was really a good show, and we had a lot of viewers, and I think you guys will enjoy it. Because, I mean, it was a good show last night, guys. But so, for everybody who gets a chance, please go to the Kick Network and check it out. Also, check out the Patreon page as well, because we do have the previews will be there from last night as well. And then don't forget, you got a membership available for $1 a month. That's the lowest cost tier package. And that gets you access to some of the new content. But some of the old ones with the more $5 and $10 memberships are still there as well. So you can still be part of that as well. Because we're expanding things. And we're going to be doing more videos as well. Because I know the videos do show promise and they are bringing in a lot of views.
Oh, yeah!
And that's a good thing too. For the time being, go out there, be safe. On the West Coast, please be careful with the cold and the snow and ice. Midwest, likewise for you, be careful with the snow and the cold. Yes, the Missouri, Kansas City Chiefs and the other team are going to be playing in a very cold environment. Let's just hope that they are prepared for those cold temperatures, and I wish them the best of luck in their gameplay. So until then, also for the East Coast right now, as you can see outside, it is, well, maybe it's kind of hard to say. Let me see if I can make this picture a little easier to see for you guys. Well, you can see it stopped raining right now. And we can see that we have some blue sky outside as well, at least in part. So that's always cool. So get outside, do something today if you can, get some things done. Because by Sunday and Monday, it's going to start getting colder on the East Coast. And please prepare accordingly. So for now, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you all real soon. And by the way, whoever is messing up with my internet, you will not succeed, because I have a local copy of it.
Oh yeah!
So it don't matter what. We're still streaming, and it will still upload as a video, even if we have to. As far as the microphone with the bad cord on it, it's let's see if I can find the cord here. Where is the cord bad? It's just said I can never find it. I can't either. There's a loose connection somewhere in the microphone. Yeah. When we find it, we find it. Right. Alright, guys. See you soon. Talk to you tonight on Noodles on Leo's channel. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everybody.